So one of the things that I try to do is I write, but I think you also have something called HTML to Markdown, and I'll tell you how that works in. Right, it says, okay, you can convert HTML to Markdown. I say, fine, that's great. And what am I gonna do right now is I'm gonna save this into an HTML only file in my desktop, right? There you go. And I'm going to open this file and I'm going to open with Notepad. Where is it? There you go. Okay, superb. Copy all the stuff here. Go back to this Markdown converter. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So go to Markdown. And let's see if it did. I think it has completed it. Okay, let's say that this is my readme.md. Okay, or maybe readme.html, something. I don't know. Let's open this with Notepad as well. Just an example. I'll change all these things later on. Don't worry about all this stuff. Let's say Control S. It's my Markdown file is ready. Now I go here. Obviously, now my git add becomes easy, right? Because it knows what file I made change to. Oh no, there's no readme.ms, but that is readme.md. Yes, and I'll say new readme test. Yep, 131 insertions. It can tell you how many lines have you inserted, right? That's the best part. And origin master, push it back, right? Yep, it has written the objects. Good, good, good. Done. Now I can go to this repo, right? My repo. There you go. And you can see this, right? Some sort of crazy readme is coming in, which is okay, not bad. We'll change that. That's not the main thing, but you could basically see something on these lines, right? Yeah. And all of this I just did without actually using a proper suite type of system, which consumes a lot of memory. Like if you look at your Android studios or so, they also have GitHub integration. I mean, Jupyter is one of the interesting things. Jupyter Notebook also has a Git extension, which you can use. There you go. Jupyter Lab has a Git extension. And what that will do is automatically, just like how we did for Collab, right? It does the same thing. So for example, there you go, find a repository, whatever repository you have, and well, you can do that. Markdown is a language which is predominantly used nowadays for a lot of documentations on the internet. So I can show you a few examples of the readmes which I usually write for projects which I try to show outside. For example, probably this one. This is good example. It's just a documentation purpose. Yeah, there you go. Like what I've done, what sort of model I've built, what is the architecture. So anybody can come in, read this, and say, "Wow, so this is what Shreyas has done. So this is what we have to do," right? So even things like a video can actually go in, right? Like there you go, right? So it provides a good documentation. Yeah, it's there in Jupyter as well, but it's also outside Jupyter. I mean, it's also like something like a README. Yeah. So branches basically, a branches from the core development. So let's say that you built out a product X, right? Uh, Sorry, what's that again? What do you need to source from Google and apply there? Where you have the option to do it in, you have a lot of markdown tools. You have a lot of markdown tools. You don't need to source from Google. I mean, it's a language. It's pretty easy. Two hashes is a heading, one hash is a singular heading, and then you have two stars basically representing bold, And for table, you basically put in just a pi and table gets created. For image, you put a square bracket and you're good. So yeah, it's a language. So coming back to Karan's question, right? Karan, let's say that you develop something called X, right? You developed a product called X. Now, obviously, X is your core product, right? And now for your core product, you can basically create a lot of branches. Branches in the sense, a lot of feature additions. Let's say release one, or let's say you have some code base, right? Some dashboard. Imagine that you have a dashboard type of code, a function. Now from that dashboard function, or maybe I'm using that dashboard function to, let's say, create a COVID dashboard. So I can create a branch called COVID, which is going to say that, hey, these two are associated. Get it? Now, let's say that that's done, and we go back and we create another dashboard, maybe for some global economy, right? That could be a branch too. Like, this is the main code that I'm using, but these are the branches of the code, which means that, like a feature addition. Is that making sense? Okay, great, great. Right. So I'll take some questions right now. So before I go there, uh, yes, portfolio. That's the last stuff which I want to cover. Usually your portfolios are basically all these stuff, right? I mean, these looks absolutely amazing, correct? Markdown is the alternative to HTML, basically. Yeah. Oh, from portfolio perspective, I don't think so. But there are good things that can help you. It's basic HTML. You don't need to put all these designs and whatnot, but you can just search this. You can say github.io page, and once you click on this, it will tell you how to create a github.io page. Got it? Right? And you can basically have Jekyll for your blogging. You can use Markdown to do it. You can put it, no, like, what do you want to put it in a simple notepad? I really did not understand that. What do you want to do that? Like, what exactly? Anyway, let me complete this part, right? So you can create a user space on GitHub. So it's pretty simple. What they say is, head over to GitHub, create a new repository named so and so.github.io, right? And see, if the first part is not right, it won't work. Create a terminal of what are you using? Maybe a GitHub desktop. Then how do you do it? Or you say, I don't know. Then it tells you what to do. Okay, simple enough. Let's say that I use a terminal and I clone my repository and I say echo hello world into index.html. It basically saves to index.html. Obviously, guys, I think you remember all these things, right? Git add all is basically git add start, git commit m, and git push u origin master, right? I think we're good with that part, right? And what they say is, once you've done that, you can just fire up your browser and go to github.io and you should be fine. The main part is that they need an index.html page to kind of point at. The question comes in from many people and obviously from me as well, right? How do I, like, I'm not a web developer, right? Yeah, I'm not a web developer. How would I do this? And that is exactly where GitHub again comes in. They actually have a lot of open source pages that you can actually use. So one of the things that I can show you is personal website. There you go. So this guy says that you can create a personal website like this, right? And you'll find all these links, all these pages, you find everything, guys, like A to Z. You'll find things on GitHub itself. Like the one which I have used is something that you guys can use. It's a very minimalistic design. Let me go back there. And you will have the link at the bottom as well for that. Hold on. It's taking some time. Yeah, there you go. Posted on GitHub page, theme by ordered list. If I go to ordered list, and he has a GitHub page theme called minimal, and this is what I've used, right? Minimal theme for GitHub pages and syntax highlighting and so on. So I can demo the theme. Hold on, let me do that. Which looks like this. And the only thing that I need to do after that is play around with index.html. Got it? I don't need to write everything. Okay, maybe he has taken it out, it seems. But what I need to do is I just need to play around with this index.html. What has he done? That's it. Which one should be a paragraph, which one should go to which link, all these things I need to do. I know that I don't need to be an exact, uh, like complete web developer per se, but this is something which is super interesting for you to do, right? I know this does not make sense to many of you guys. So if you're not able to create a website, it is absolutely fine, but just create a repo. I mean, repo is something that should be there at least for every single project. Create a repo and write a good readme, guys. I mean, that's enough. Enough. You don't need to do anything. Create a repo, write an awesome readme, and you should be fine. You don't need to worry about anything else, right? And then you'll see people will actually come in and they'll say, oh, this is good, this is not good, whatever it is. They will start, they will pull out some issues from the code, whatever it is, it's all fine, right? But just to make sure that you do that. Anyway, so with that, I think the basic stuff is done. And to create portfolio, one more thing that you can do is, obviously you guys would have seen this a lot, and I know some of you are following this. Go to Medium. And once you go to Medium, create a create a uh, create a login ID, and you basically get a chance to write everything. You can write about anything on Medium. It's a blog post, so you get the gist. You can write anything like news story, and this also works on Markdown. And I think Medium itself, they have really interesting stuff to read about. Once you write it on Medium, you'll see some publications will say, oh, this is on data science, so let me take this up. And that's how you basically get tagged to one of the publications. And people would basically start looking at your articles, they'll comment on your articles, and you can basically share those articles with your recruiters and they can look at it. They can provide a feedback, they can give the comments. It's all good stuff after that, right? And once you've written that, so think about it in these stages. First step, I write whatever my codes, whatever my analysis, push it to GitHub with the code base. Step two, I write an article about whatever I've done on Medium. Step three, I say that, hey, here's an article which I wrote about so and so things, and here are some screenshots. Here's the Medium link. And if you want to look at the codes, here's the GitHub link. Done. So it's a three-step process if you're able to understand what I'm trying to say. And that will actually push you to market yourselves better. And you'll find so many people actually approaching you and asking you if you can join them or if you can give an interview or not. Right? Okay. Any questions that you have or any part of this thing that you were not able to understand? Yeah. Medium is free to write, not to read. They started some charging and all. That's a very controversial stuff which is going on. With steps, portfolio steps. Okay, so first things first, for every project that you write, portfolio is okay. What do you mean by portfolio, Jay? What is portfolio? What is portfolio? Let's forget about data science. What is portfolio in general? What have I done? Right? I can show them GitHub, or I can show them a page, or I can tell them, here's my article link where you can actually see what I've done. Right? Small representation of work in a general sense. Not experience. Experience is different. Markdown is important to learn before writing a blog. Obviously, learn that and make sure that your blogs are focused on what you want to tell them. You should not spin round, round, round. You can't do that. Yeah, I know Rishabh has created a lot of. Yeah, exactly. I can basically go to this link. So, there you go. Rishabh, create a good README though. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, GitHub link is always enough and it should always be on your resume. I mean, one of the things that you could possibly see is every single data scientist who I interview would actually have a GitHub link, right? They always put that. And sometimes, if I'm not very sure if they know something or not, I basically go to their GitHub and see if they've actually worked on it, right? So let's say that I continue with Shreyas, right? So I sign in. What's that? Oh, that's fine. I go to here, right? And what happens is that people can actually browse through whatever I've done, and they would actually see my GitHub profile as well. So let me. So one thing is obviously you can add some publications here, which tells you what it is and what it does. But where is the GitHub link, which I usually have? Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, you only need to provide that link. I don't know where that is gone in. But okay, ideally what happens is let me show you something. Okay, let me show you something which is interesting. Let's say that I have these projects here, correct? And this option LinkedIn provides as well. Let's say seed project. And once they click on seed project, it goes to this particular readme. Get it? Right? It basically maps to the GitHub ID and I'm able to see what I've done, right? Or some random person XYZ is able to see what Shreyas Raghavan has done. Correct? Ideally, ideally, what I would possibly do, and this is something that I know Rishabh has also done, is that if I go to Rishabh, yes, because there you go. So whenever he creates something, right? So he has created some of the repository. He gives a demo there. He adds people and he tells what it is. He says, okay, suggestions are welcome, so on and so forth. And people can look at it and say, okay, Rishabh is someone who has basically done something which looks like this. See, he's also explained what he has done, which is pretty amazing. Anybody can see this and that's not a screenshot. That's really not a screenshot. That's essentially like a video that he has posted, and he can basically look at that, right? uh, I think one or two more links which I remember that he posted quite recently was yeah, there you go. So predicts production of honey, so on and so forth, and he thanks people and he says that here's what I've written. I go here and I can see his IPYNB file, and he can also create a type of documentary in IPYNB which he hasn't created right now. So Rishabh, you need to do that, but you get the gist, right? So people can go look at your code, look at what you've done through all these links, and people, so many people look at it, so many people comment, so many people say that, wow, this is amazing, right? And you can just go about it. So this is one more thing that he has done. And there you go. Once I go here, he says that this is what he has done and what are all the things. So this is much more detailed, yeah, right? So this type of analysis, we can look at it and we can say, wow, this is amazing. He has done some really good stuff, right? So that's exactly how we try to see. Got it? So this becomes a portfolio. When I try to show this, or when somebody else tries to show this, they're gonna see this and they're gonna say, "Wow, that's good." And now he also says, "Feel free to fork this repository on GitHub or connect to him via LinkedIn. I can focus repository, work on few more things, add few more things, and I can thank Rishabh for the initial set of codes, and I can write some set of codes and close it." Got it?